The Frank Haith Show, brought to you by Don Thornton Cadillac, Pepsi, River Spirit, TTCU, the credit union, and St. Francis Health System. And now your host, Bruce Howard.
Hello again, everybody, and we welcome you to the Frank Haith Show. I'm Bruce Howard, joined by the basketball coach at the University of Tulsa, Frank Haith, and the regular season is over. And the great part is you can celebrate a co-championship in the American Athletic Conference. What an accomplishment. What's it mean to you?
Well, first of all, it means we have a great staff. It means we have great players that came together. To win championship, you have to have good leadership. We've had a great locker room all year, and these guys found a way night in, night out to be competitive, and give a lot of credit to them and to our coaching staff.
Absolutely. Terrific performance by the Hurricane all season long. It's a co-championship, and we'll talk about all the seeds and the upcoming American Athletic Conference tournament in a little bit. But first of all, we'll have highlights of Tulsa's road trip to Philadelphia against the Temple Owls. That's coming up next.
I'm Montabanu. I'm a senior from Lagos, Nigeria.
And a two-hand slam dunk by Igbanu. What a pass by Jackson.
Some of the strengths I bring to the team are my leadership, my scoring ability, my defense, my camaraderie I have with the team. You can expect me and the team to play as hard as we can every night, try to win every possession and win every game, and you can definitely expect us to go far this year.
Okay? Guys, I got this up here. Toughness, togetherness, and how hungry we. Before we put that in, here's the thing. You're going to get it started. During my quiet time this afternoon, I was thinking to myself how far we've come as a basketball team. Man, we've come a long way. Then all of a sudden, I thought to myself, we still got something more that I think we can get to. Am I delusional in feeling that way? Because I feel like we've improved so much. We've come so far, but there's still another level we haven't got to yet. How hungry are you to get to that level?
We're back on the Frank Haith Show as we go into the final week of the regular season of the American Athletic Conference. You're right there tied for first coach, and you have a situation where you're going to Philadelphia. And by Wednesday, you already realize that Cincinnati has lost a game, so you're already half up on them. Now you got to hold serve. You're playing in Philadelphia. They're tough there. Even with your great win over Temple earlier in the year, you know you're going to be in for a test.
Yeah, it was so far back in January we played them, and they've gotten better. They've had some good wins in their building since then, and we knew it was going to be a tough task for us. But I thought our mindset was really good going to Philadelphia, and we talked about being in play, and we were in play, and I thought we were really focused.
Absolutely. The Golden Hurricane taking on the Temple Owls in Philadelphia. Hurricane looking for the sweep in this game, and you can see the ramifications record-wise and that sort of stuff. And here in the early going, Elijah Joyner knocks down a shot for you.
Yeah, and we didn't see that whole possession, but that possession, we really worked the ball. We're good when we work the ball, playing inside out, and there's Darren on the fake DHO, getting to the hoop, and I thought we got out to a decent, solid start here.
Yeah, that fake dribble handoff that you described is something that Darian's worked well on, hasn't he?
Yeah, and just reading the defense, and good pass there by Reggie to Martin, good finish at the rim. They got out to a little bit of a lead, but we showed some experience here and not panicking and getting that ball to Martins.
Always helps, and of course it's a 4-point edge there for Temple and the Hurricane getting the ball back, and there's Lawson Creed, who's finishing his career on a great note.
Yeah, as Lawson's shooting the ball better, people are running at him, so now he's doing a good job driving that ball.
And now here's a big three-pointer by Reggie Jones.
Yeah, really nice pass by Isaiah on that baseline, finding Reggie, and Reggie's ready to shoot it.
And so this run continues, and the Golden Hurricane looking for the lead here with just under 9 minutes to go in the first half. And again, a really good offensive set here.
Yeah, nice pass to Brandon, and Brandon finished that thing with his left hand, and really good job.
Tulsa taking the lead, but now down by 1, and that wouldn't last for long. And that's a tough shot for Isaiah
Really
Hill.
Tough shot, but late in the clock, and Brandon not panicking and getting him that ball was really good.
Yeah, and that's a nice play again by Isaiah Hill. I thought he was the star for you in the first half with Joyner in foul trouble.
Yeah, 7 points, has some couple of nice assists. There he is shooting a deep three in the wing right there, and they forced him to a timeout.
Yep, Tulsa taking the lead and still up by 3 here.
Another, although Brandon struggled to shoot the ball here late, but when he's set like that, obviously knocks that down. And here's Isaiah come off that ball screen throwback, and Lawson knocks down a 3.
So you're really starting to get into rhythm offensively, up now 29-23, and the half goes in with the Hurricane on top at halftime. And at the end of the half, TU with the advantage and some pretty good numbers after a slow start, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take, because, our defense is doing well. We held them at 30% shooting, and, they made those threes early. And, so it was, I thought we were in a good place if we continued to defend. Our offense was going to, execution-wise, we knew we had to get the ball to Marty a little bit, and there we are early in the second half, getting him the ball where he needed to be.
Yeah, you had the 31-24 halftime lead, and now you're inching it out into double figures.
Yeah, and this is a really good drive by Brandon and finishing, using the rim to get it off, and really good finish.
Good to see Brandon Rachel getting back into double digits for you, and a good entry pass.
Yeah, nice execution there, and good seal by Marty and getting the and one, and you can see we're up 14. They went zone, good passing right here. Darren, nice finish by Brandon.
Well, you talk about stretching the defense and passing it to different areas and that sort of thing. That was brilliant.
Well, this whole possession against the zone, we never took one dribble. It was all about passing and finding an open guy and good execution.
Up by 17 at that point. Now it's down to 14.
Good execution there on our dribble weave stuff with the back cut by Lawson and a great pass by Darren.
Back up by 16, and again, that dribble penetration into the lane really makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does, and nice pass by Darren, and obviously good finish by Marty right there.
Igbanu with that basket to give you an 18-point lead, and moments later, the Martin Igbanu show continues. How about this play, Coach?
Well, that's a heck of a lot drive and finish by Marty right there, and but good patience on Baze when he drove that ball.
Up by 20, largest lead of the game for you. And again, you continue to keep Temple at bay, and good to see Jariah Horn knock one in.
Yes, and they kept fighting. You give Temple credit. They kept fighting a nice drive there, but we were sharing that ball, and this is a big bucket here because they made a couple baskets and dry off his rebound stick back.
Yeah, got it back up to 14 with less than 4 minutes to go, and Tulsa holds off Temple. Great defensive effort again. You can stop them at only 30% shooting. In fact, it was under 30% as your defense against Temple in 2 games is just stellar.
Yeah, and you're able to do that to a team on the road, and 23% from 3, 30% from the floor. You talked about it, and that was we were really, really good for 40 minutes, but our second half we really clamped it down.
So the Hurricane winning the game in Philadelphia to get to 13-4, and the road trip continues as Tulsa heads to Wichita State on Sunday with a chance for an outright championship. And we'll talk about that in a moment when the Frank Haith Show continues.
We were a little rugged early and then some, maybe some nerves or whatever, but we played well. I'm really happy for you, happy for us. Great job. We're right where we want to be. Okay. Big one on Sunday, but they're all big. Next game. It's the next game, okay? And that's what we got to think about. But I'm proud of you. Play smart, what you're doing. We get back, be smart, go to class, be humble. We know who we are. We know what we got to do, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else says outside our locker room.
We're back on the Frank Haith Show as the Golden Hurricane getting ready for Wichita State. But after you get back from Philadelphia on Thursday, Houston loses, and of course you discover you're no worse than a co-champion in the American Athletic Conference. Tremendous accomplishment, but your work is not done yet.
That's exactly right. We, obviously, Houston losing on that Thursday against UConn was, gave us a chance to win, to share the title. But these guys wanted to have the outright opportunity, and that, plus it's late in the year playing a Wichita State team that has great numbers. It helps your resume towards the NCAA tournament.
Oh, absolutely, no question, a resume builder for both teams, and the Hurricane going for an outright championship. And we head to Wichita, and there's an early shot. They made some early 3-pointers, didn't they, Coach?
They did. But I thought we handled the first run and got going there where they didn't run away from us.
Right.
And there was a lot of juice in this building. I've been in this building a couple times, and it was as loud as it's been since I've been here.
Nice fadeaway from the baseline for Jariah Horn, and 11-6 at that time, but you see Wichita State's made another run, and good to get the ball to Martin Zigbanu. They denied him a lot, didn't they? They did, but Marty,
got going here, and I told him to shoot that ball. We ran some stuff for it, because they put a little guy on dry, and we were going to post him up, and I said, Marty, if they don't guard you, just shoot it. Because Marty he practiced shooting threes every day.
Yeah.
So.
And it's the first time since his freshman year that he's had 2 3-pointers in a ball game, and there's good defense for you, Coach, as you're working your way kind of back into this game.
Yeah, nice cut by Lawson, good pass by Zay. We're still right within striking distance, and this is a great drive by Marty and finish.
And the face-up game for Martin Zigbanu has established itself, and there's a tip and a steal. You've got a chance to cut the lead even further, and good job by Darian Jackson. Huh?
As you see, it's a 3-point game with a minute left to go in the half.
Right.
And then we fouled the jump shooter a couple times in this ball game, which, you're just giving them points when we did that. And we did that right there and give them stretch the lead back up to 8.
So it's 8 at halftime, but still you're clearly within distance. They haven't shot it very well, and they have shot it well. So, at halftime, what are you saying to the guys?
Well, just got to stay with it. When we got to play inside out, we got to get that ball to Marty a little bit. And because I thought we took some quick shots in this ball game.
And there's a tap away and a steal by Carita, and he gets the foul and gets it up and in. And obviously that's a big play for you early in the second half.
Yeah, good hands here by Lawson. And obviously a really good finish against Stevenson right there.
And that layup and the subsequent free throw makes it a 9-point game. Cut it down to 8 at that time, but then they start getting it out in transition.
Yeah, and that was a tough play right there, but they got going in transition and made some shots and errors. We didn't give up many second shots, but that was one right there we gave up. We didn't block out. They jumped out 20, but we cut it back to 10 and started a 12-0 run right here. Dry makes that 3. We have another play here where Darian hits Marty here. We get another bucket.
Martin Zigbanu with that dunk, and it cuts the lead down to 18. But again, you're not done, and you got lots of work to do, and that's a really nice play by Darian Jackson, isn't it?
Yeah, and we say when we drive and you don't have a play, you play off 2 feet. Let's get open, and there's Marty getting open and Darren found him.
So then you get a stop, and then you come back down, and you're going to have to put the ball in the hole to make the big comeback. And again, there's Jariah Horn knocking one in for you. Now you're down by 15, and now you're kind of within distance, right?
Yeah, and we start to play a little inside out, sharing that ball, and that's that one more pass. We knock down another 3. Now it's a 10-point game.
And Wichita State forced to call a timeout. Unfortunately, it was Wichita State then would go on an 11-0 run as they made it difficult on TU.
Yeah, it started with Burton hitting that 3, and I think he's 3 for 3, and there's Trey Wade makes another 3, and which we were good contest on that shot too.
Yeah, sometimes they just make shots on you, and that's a big 3 certainly for Darian Jackson, and that knocks it back down to 20. But boy, you're up against it at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, and give Wichita State credit. They had a lot of emotions in the game, senior night, and their crowd was great, and I thought they played really well. And you can't take anything from them, but we missed some bunnies. I thought we kind of took some tough shots early in the ball game, which gave them some momentum. But obviously, when you sit back and look at it, it was going to be a tough challenge for us. But I felt like at the end of the day, we've had a good run, and now we got to get ready for a conference tournament.
Yeah, and that run is not over, because now it is conference time. In a moment, we'll be back and take a look at a road to a championship for TU basketball. We welcome you back to the Frank Haith Show, and on the Don Thornton Cadillac feature segment, the Golden Hurricane winning their first ever American Athletic Conference championship. And congratulations to Coach Haith, the staff, and the entire team. Well, we thought we'd take a look back at the run to Tulsa's first ever AAC title.
After a good first half, fueled by an emotional and exciting victory over number 22 Wichita State, the Golden Hurricane entered the back nine of the American Athletic Conference season at 7-2, just out of first place. After a tough loss at UCF, TU regrouped and, led by Lawson Corita and Jariah Horn's first half shooting, led ECU by 16 at home. In the second half, when ECU made their runs, Martin Zigbanu turned them away. He had 24 in a 70-56 win. Then TU went to Tampa to tangle with USF. It was a tough, grueling defensive struggle, but the Hurricane was up to the task, holding the Bulls down and grinding out a 56-48 win. Brandon Rochelle led TU with 18, including 8 of 8 at the free throw line, as the Hurricane went to the line 28 times. At 9-3 in the conference, then came a showdown for first place at Houston. TU battled in the first half, but a late first half run followed by an early second half bust out led Houston to the win. Always good at recovery, TU had SMU at home, and late in the first half, the Hurricane took command. Then Martin Zigbanu took over in the second half. Another terrific game for him, 23 points. And Lawson Corita pitched in with 14. Darian Jackson had 12 in the game. Now at 10-4 in the league, TU needed to continue to hold serve at home at the Reynolds Center. But Tulane was tough, and led by Keyshawn Hightower, they led 33-30 at half. Down by as many as 6 in the second half, TU slowly fought their way back, led by the consistent Igbanu, and a big three for Jariah Horn to give TU the lead with 3 minutes to play. The Hurricane would go on to a 62-57 win. In a rematch at home with UCF, it was senior day at the Reynolds Center. Everybody pitched in, but it was Lawson Corita's day as a senior. With the shot clock running down and TU clinging to a 2-point lead, he buried a three-pointer to keep UCF at arm's length away. Then moments later, he hit a runner from about 15 feet out to keep TU 2 scores ahead. Then in the closing seconds, a steal, a layup, and a foul. And Corita would have a new career-high 20 as TU went to 12-4 in the league, tied with Houston for first. After the successful 3-game homestand, now it was back on the road for Tulsa in Philadelphia against the Temple Owls. And again, the Hurricane did it with defense, smothering the Owls on only 29.8% shooting. Brandon Rochelle hit some big shots, and again, Martin Zigbanu was steady, leading the way with 17 points. So after the Wednesday win, TU did a little scoreboard watching, and when Houston lost to UConn, the Hurricane had clinched at least a tie for the league championship. Then the final regular season game at Wichita State. And even though that game didn't turn out the way the Hurricane had hoped, still TU can celebrate their first ever American Athletic Conference men's basketball championship. More on the Frank Haith Show in a moment.
We're back on the Frank Haith Show as we get ready for postseason play. The Hurricane will play Friday in the American Athletic Conference Tournament. Coach, what's important when you get into conference tournament play?
Well, first of all, you kind of wipe the slate clean. I think most teams, when you get in conference tournament, you're excited about, anybody can win a conference championship and it's to play in the NCAA tournament. Sure. So you're gonna, we get to sit back and watch everybody play the first night, and then it comes fast and furious. So if we're able to win that night at 8:30, we got to turn around and play 4 o'clock the next day. So we got to make sure we got our legs underneath us. We got this week to get ready, and that to get ready for that night game at 8:30 against East Carolina or Memphis.
And the possibility of 3 games in 3 days is different than anything you've done all year long, right?
It is, but we've had some back-to-back games. Obviously, you just got to get your rest, and I think Coach Dietz will do a great job with our guys getting them enough rest to get ready to play.
As we're looking at the bracket, of course, the Hurricane taking on the Memphis ECU winner on Friday night, and that's the first thing, and that's all you're worried about at this point, right?
All we're concerned about, and both teams are very capable. I know East Carolina a couple weeks ago were playing really good basketball. Memphis the last couple of weeks have been picked and built their games up really well. So, either team's going to be a great challenge for us.
All right, Coach, congrats on the championship and good luck this week.
Thank you, Bruce.
That wraps it up for the Frank Haith Show. I'm Bruce Howard. So long for now.
The Frank Haith Show, brought to you by Don Thornton Cadillac, Pepsi, River Spirit, TTCU, The Credit Union, and St. Francis Health System. The Frank Haith Show has been a presentation of Golden Hurricane Sports Properties and a Kane Vision production.